In a swirling vortex reminiscent of a dream, Rudeus Greyrat finds himself soaring through the sky, clutching Eris Boreas Greyrat tightly. Despite the sensation of flying, Rudeus feels a strange pull at the sight of the ever-shifting landscape. This surreal dream soon takes a nosedive as Rudeus begins to lose control, spiraling down towards an ominous reddish-brown stretch of earth. Just as reality seems to shatter around him, Rudeus succumbs to the darkness. When he opens his eyes, Rudeus is surrounded by an endless expanse of white void. Confused, he realizes he's experiencing lucid dreaming. He is face to face with a blur, a pixelated figure who introduces themselves with unsettling familiarity. "Hey there. Nice to meet you, Rudeus," the voice teases. Rudeus, perplexed by the entity's ambiguous and playful manner, responds warily. This enigmatic presence, reminiscent of an online avatar, identifies itself as the man god. Before Rudeus can process this, the man god makes a startling revelation, claiming to have watched over Rudeus's life. In a tone both condescending and bemused, the man god offers advice: trust the man Rudeus will soon encounter. This directive leaves Rudeus baffled and apprehensive, particularly since the godlike figure reveals knowledge from Rudeus' past life on Earth. As Rudeus grapples with his distrust, the man god vanishes, leaving him with lingering instructions to rely on the mysterious figure he is destined to meet. When Rudeus awakens, he finds himself sprawled on the cold ground beneath a sky full of stars. A fire crackles nearby, casting fleeting shadows and warming the air. Rudeus quickly realizes the strangeness of his surroundings. He's not alone. Beside him lie Eris and the cat-eared maid, Rudeus Superdia. Everything about this land feels unfamiliar and daunting. The realization hits him: he's been mysteriously teleported to the demon continent, a place laden with danger and magic. Startled by the man god's advice, Rudeus cautiously approaches Rudeus, a Superd, one of the feared warrior races whose reputation rivals that of horrifying legends. But, contrary to the legends, Rudeus displays a disarming kindness and offers a helping hand to Rudeus and his companions. Intrigued yet cautious, Rudeus decides to converse with Rudeus. They quickly strike up an understanding. Rudeus reveals more about his motives, explaining his desire to aid children like Rudeus and Eris. Rudeus can't help but be skeptical, yet the man god's words echo in his mind, urging him to trust this unlikely ally. When Eris awakens, her fear of Rudeus is palpable. Her instinct to flee overwhelms her, but with Rudeus's encouragement, she gingerly extends greetings to Rudeus, albeit awkwardly. Despite the exchange, Eris remains unconvinced, her discomfort evident through her tense demeanor. Time passes and the trio huddles together by the fire. Rudeus ensures Eris that they are safe under Rudeus's protection. He offers words of comfort, slowly guiding their conversation toward friendship with Rudeus, who hesitantly expresses his willingness to be their friend, despite his imposing nature. As the stars shine overhead, Rudeus and Eris find themselves lulled into a stupor by the warmth of companionship and the crackling fire. Rudeus, determined to get Eris home, accepts the daunting journey that lies ahead on this perilous continent. And with resolve, he surrenders to the embrace of sleep, ready to face whatever the morrow may bring. Eris is filled with excitement as she wakes up, eager about the prospect of another adventure on the demon continent. She turns to Rudeus, who patiently listens to her energetic chatter about their impending journey, her studies, and her developing skills. Despite Eris' discomfort with social interactions, she finds herself more at ease around Rudeus, perhaps because of his straightforward nature. He nods and offers practical advice, keeping his responses simple but thoughtful. Rudeus, taking charge, reminds Eris and Rudeus of the dangers of the demon continent, although Eris is too thrilled to heed the stern warning. Rudeus finds himself in admiration of Eris' growing confidence and skills. As they discuss their plan, Rudeus expresses surprise at Eris' surname, Greyrat, suspecting a deeper connection. Eris and Rudeus explain that she uses the name as part of their cover, which Rudeus accepts with a solemn nod. The journey is arduous, with the landscape proving harsh and rocky. The sun beats down on them, and the path is dusty. As they travel, Rudeus takes note of Rudeus' habit of running ahead to scout for danger, suspicious of any potential threats. Eris questions Rudeus about this, revealing her desire to be more involved, but as always, Rudeus is protective and urges caution. He explains his method of dealing with monsters by using a special jewel on his spear, which surprises Eris. As they proceed, Eris struggles with the perilous terrain, voicing her exhaustion, but Rudeus' steady guidance keeps their spirits high. Nearing a village, they realize they must tread carefully to avoid alarming the locals. The villagers, wary of strangers, are especially cautious around Rudeus due to his superb heritage. Tension rises as a boy approaches, requesting them to wait for the village elder. Rudeus and Eris try to communicate with the villagers while Rudeus keeps a watchful eye. The discussion with the villagers becomes tense due to misunderstandings, but eventually, they bring up Rudeus' connection to Roxy, which eases suspicions. Rudeus explains their purpose is genuine, and Eris proudly demonstrates her diplomatic skills, although she doesn't speak the local language. When the village elder arrives, introductions are made. The elder is intrigued by Eris' manners, sharing a moment of connection. As they converse, the topic of Roxy comes up, revealing that she was once a local. Rudeus' presence draws mixed emotions from the villagers, highlighting the complex dynamics of the demon continent. Eris takes brief respite during the discussion, her fatigue evident. Despite her bravado, it becomes apparent that the journey is taking its toll on her, highlighting a vulnerability beneath her fierce exterior. Rudeus offers her a place to rest, showcasing their deepening bond. The villagers permit them to rest nearby, leading to a deeper conversation between Rudeus and Rudeus about the super's tragic past. Rudeus reveals his personal history. His people were betrayed by Laplace, tricked into using devilish spears that drove them to madness. The revelation adds gravity to Rudeus' quest for redemption, explaining his earnest desire to protect and guide others. Rudeus, moved by Rudeus' story, reassures him of their shared destiny to counter misconceptions about the supered race. They agree to work together, forming a pact that blends protection with purpose. Despite his initial wariness, Rudeus decides to trust Rudeus, feeling a budding sense of camaraderie and understanding. They prepare for their journey to the nearest town with renewed determination, leaving behind the village with newfound allies. As they set off, Eris, re-energized from her rest, joins Rudeus and Rudeus, ready to face the challenges that lie ahead. Their path is uncertain, but bonded by shared goals and mutual trust, they press on through the unforgiving lands of the demon continent. Rudeus Greyrat finds himself in a vibrant conversation with a woman named Rokari, whose warm demeanor leaves an impression on him. She's pleased to meet him, especially given his connection to Roxy. Rudeus is both humbled and flattered when Rokari refers to him as master, but quickly downplays the title in light-hearted banter. Rokari gifts Rudeus a special sword, a sleek and slightly curved blade with a sturdy edge. It has dings and dents suggesting years of use, yet remains sharp. She tells him this was from a blacksmith who made ceremonial weapons. The sword gleams faintly, catching the light in a surprisingly elegant manner. Rudeus graciously accepts it, thanking Rokari for her kindness. He learns that this weapon was ordered by Roxy a long time ago, a fact that leaves him deeply appreciative. Rudeus knows the gesture is rife with meaning. The conversation shifts to currency and the overwhelming disparity between regions. Rudeus is given a pouch containing several coins, highlighting the stark difference between Ajuran wealth and the scarcity on the demon continent. He experiences a brief moment of awkward gratitude as he accepts much-needed money for their journey. Eris and Rudeus soon embark on the next leg of their journey, guided by Rudeus, whose experience in the wilderness proves invaluable. Rudeus reflects on the importance of having Rudeus with them, especially when they encounter threats. Rudeus, always composed, proposes a hunting lesson to Rudeus and Eris. There's a sense of anticipation as Rudeus considers Rudeus' offer to teach them how to fend for themselves. As the group ventures deeper into the wilderness, they confront a formidable creature known as a stone treant. These creatures are essentially tree-like monsters, presenting a unique challenge. Eris is eager to prove herself, even as Rudeus feels protective. He instructs the group on their battle formation, with Eris at the forefront, channeling her warrior spirit. When the battle begins, Rudeus attempts magic to support Eris, a sense of determination locking him in as he aims for precision. Stone cannon, he chants, sending a forceful projectile thundering toward the treant. The impact is devastating, shattering the creature into fragments. Eris is momentarily taken aback, but quickly collects herself to respond adept to the remaining challenges. With the Treant defeated, there's a shared camaraderie among the group, although Rudeus is mindful of the need for Eris to gain more combat experience. This leads to a pragmatic brief on battle strategies and formation adjustments as they continue their travels. Their expedition is peppered with moments of bonding and learning, especially around the campfire. Eris, initially skeptical about the camp food, soon finds herself enjoying the great tortoise meat despite its unappetizing aroma. Rudeus watches her eat with surprise, amused by her adventurous palate. As night falls, Rudeus imparts a poignant lesson about weaponry, revealing that each Superd is born with their own spear, a profound extension of themselves. Come to think of it, who made this spear? Rudeus asks, astonished by the spear's craftsmanship. Rudeus solemnly answers, it's made of me. This mystical revelation stirs reflection, the starry night acting as a backdrop to meaningful silence. Each character processes the burdens and connections they carry, understanding better the depth of their journey and the bonds forming between them. As their travels resume, the city of Rikarisu comes into view, a storied place of historical significance. Rudeus realizes the challenge ahead, entering the city with Rudeus, who's often met with hostility due to his Superd heritage. Weighing their options, Rudeus concocts a plan involving rudimentary disguises, aiming to hide Rudeus' identity. Approaching the gates, they interact with the guards on duty, managing to pass through with misleading yet harmless tales about their group's intentions. The tension eases once inside, but Rudeus remains conscious of the need to maintain a low profile, pondering how to ally Rudeus' natural instincts with their path forward. The idea of becoming adventurers floats among them, offering a chance for stable work and a way to integrate into the new environment. Eris is thrilled at the prospect, swayed by the adventure and recognition it promises. Rudeus, subtly supportive, agrees, adding his voice to the decision with thoughtful reflection. Yet, just as plans appear concrete, Rudeus contemplates how best to utilize Rudeus' capabilities without inciting fear. Complicated by Rudeus' reputation as dead end, the trio weighs the potential risks and merits of becoming involved in the guild scene. Ultimately, they resolve to approach each decision carefully, mindful of the world's prejudices and their unified goals. Navigating the marketplace of Rikarisu, Rudeus skillfully engages in bartering, channeling his inner merchant to acquire necessary supplies without overspending their limited funds. His efforts yield small triumphs in securing useful items for their continued journey. Throughout, an underlying theme of growth and adaptability weaves through their experiences. Rudeus's journey is as much about understanding his companions and himself as it is about conquering the external challenges they face. Each step forward is enriched by earnest lessons and shared resilience. Amid the uncertainty, there remains an unshakable trust binding them, propelling their adventure into a realm of untold possibilities. With uncertainty about the amount he just spent, Rudeus reflects on how his money, a cherished gift from Master Rox's parents, is quickly dwindling. As they finish their shopping, they encounter Royce, a self-proclaimed admirer of the infamous warrior Dead End, who suggests that spreading tales of a compassionate Rudeus could help rehabilitate his terrifying reputation. Rudeus and Rudeus agree to play the part, hoping Rudeus' image will evolve from that of a brutal monster. They concoct a plan involving Rudeus' impersonation by another, which could dilute his reputation like watercolors. Rudeus hopes that if reports of a kind Rudeus spread, they might reach the community's consciousness, potentially saving the Superd from further vilification. He muses, this is going to be a delicate balancing act. Rudeus is uneasy with the idea of allowing mockery, but Rudeus reassures him, it's a way to convince people you're harmless, making them feel good about themselves. In a bid to symbolize their alliance, Rudeus hands Rudeus a pendant from the Migard, enhancing the illusion of their connection. Rudeus agrees hesitantly, touched by the gesture, pledging to keep it safe. Rudeus then persuades a reluctant Eris to wear a cute cat-eared hood to create a lighter image, which surprisingly delights her. As they approach the Adventurers Guild, Rudeus prays, God, I hope this goes smoothly. Inside the guild, a chaotic scene of burly warriors greets them. They draw immediate attention as Rudeus loudly declares their intent, Dead End's a frigging newbie, who. The place erupts in disbelief and laughter at what seems an outlandish claim. Unfazed, Rudeus plays along with the disbelieving mockery. Rudeus, with surprising restraint, allows the crowd's laughter, part of their charade, to stir conversation. Finally, the guild clerk registers them under the party name Dead End, aligning with Rudeus' goal to reshape perceptions. Each is assigned an F rank, indicative of their novice status. As they complete this registration, the mood remains light, considering the gravity of their mission. Seeking work, Rudeus peruses the board meant for low-ranking jobs. Though mundane, these tasks signify their initial steps as adventurers. However, a comedic misstep by Rudeus, slipping on an unfortunate frog leg obstacle, ignites laughter around them, underscoring the uneasy blend of their serious mission amidst unrelenting challenges. This steady blend of humor and strategy is key to their journey. Rudeus emphasizes, it's about playing the part. If we play it just right, maybe the word on Rudeus will change. Their journey may be fraught with absurdities, but it's rooted in the hope of redemption, and they forge on with the fragile balance of laughter and promise. Eris, Rudeus, and Rudeus find themselves sorting through various tasks that adventurers might take on, only to be met with disappointment. Many of the jobs seem trivial, but one catches their eye: our missing pet request. While tasks like these wouldn't appeal to seasoned adventurers, Eris insists they help, especially since the requester is just a little girl. They didn't seem like the sort of jobs you'd undertake as a party, but helping a child seems right. The group, now working under the ominous but misunderstood name Dead End, faces ridicule from other adventurers. Would-be detractors mock them, pointing out that there are easier jobs for someone as high-ranking as Rudeus, who is dressed as if he were the legendary Dead End. The name carries weight, mostly negative, thanks to its legendary status associated with fearsome warriors from the past. Rudeus reflects on their situation and sees progress. Though people laugh at the mention of Dead End, they are not showing fear. A step forward, he muses optimistically. At least they're on the right path, he thinks, even though Rudeus remains unconvinced. As evening falls, the group seeks shelter. The city's lights cast a magical glow over the landscape. Eris spots something unusual: solar-powered stones illuminating the crater walls. Intrigued, Rudeus and Rudeus discuss how these rare stones, known as illumivoltaic stones, are instrumental, albeit rare, in everyday life in the Demon Continent. In their quest for a place to rest, they come upon an inn with a warm atmosphere. Despite the humble setting, it feels welcoming. However, Rudeus, Eris, and Rudeus' appearance draws the attention of a group of young adventurers. These adventurers, charged with arrogance, take pleasure in insulting and challenging them. Eris's temper flares. After listening to their mockery, she leaps into action, swiftly incapacitating one of the young adventurers with her skilled martial prowess, remarking, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Her punches speak volumes as they land, leaving the aggressors regretting their bravado. Just as Eris seems to go too far, Rudeus intervenes. "We can just repair the hood. I'll sew it up for you, okay? So cut the guy a break," he implores, diffusing the tension. The situation diffuses, but not before Eris's impressive display of strength leaves an indelible mark. Afterwards, Rudeus comforts the injured party, showcasing his healing abilities. He extends an olive branch and learns the young leader's name, Kurt. Planning ahead, Rudeus decides they'll complete several low-ranking tasks to build their reputation as adventurers. Given the constraints, the team realizes they must work strategically. Their living costs demand significant earnings, pushing them into action. Later that night, as fatigue sets in, Rudeus finds Eris awake, troubled. "Are we really gonna make it home?" she asks. Despite her brave facade, Eris's vulnerability emerges, and Rudeus reassures her, "Yes. Absolutely." He promises to get them home, strengthening their resolve. The evening closes with an understanding: survival will require small steps. Rudeus, and Eris are now full-fledged adventurers, their bonds fortified by new challenges and shared goals. The following day, they take their first official job, tasked with finding a lost pet for a woman named Mysel, who warmly greets them at her home. As they begin their quest, there is a budding sense of promise in the air. Adventure awaits. Rudeus, along with Rudeus and Eris, is on a mission to track down a lost cat named Me. Displaying confidence in his team, Rudeus assures the client, "You're in good hands with Dead End." Despite some misunderstandings, their teamwork is evident, and they set off to find the missing feline. As they progress through the city, Rudeus and Rudeus engage in playful banter. Rudeus praises Rudeus for his versatile skills, which impress Eris. Rudeus reflects on how much Eris has grown, both in courage and perception of strength, ever since they began their journey together. His thoughts reveal a newfound respect for Eris's assertiveness and her ability to keep up with the group's dynamics. Their search takes them through the winding alleyways of the city, led by Rudeus's keen senses. He observes tracks on the ground, prompting cautious optimism from Rudeus. They navigate the narrow paths, feeling the weight of eyes on them in the notorious backstreets, where their presence doesn't go unnoticed. Rudeus's tight-lipped assurance aims to keep the group focused. They move through darker areas until they stumble upon a rundown building that hints at clandestine activities. Inside, they find a room filled with countless cages of pets, suggesting a pet theft operation. Among the captured animals is the sought-after cat, Me. While Eris handles the situation with typical impatience, Rudeus reflects on the morality of their actions, confronting his internal conflict about taking lives. When Rudeus kills a captive who remained silent under pressure, Rudeus is shaken by the experience. It's a moment that reinforces the discrepancy between Rudeus's beliefs and Rudeus's ruthless pragmatism. With deep breaths, Rudeus steels himself to engage in an interrogation with another captive. He attempts to extract useful information without resorting to violence, contrasting Rudeus's approach. The captives, clearly intimidated, eventually divulge the workings of their pet napping scheme. Rudeus faces a moral dilemma regarding what to do with the captors. He weighs the options: murder them, hand them over to authorities, or let them go. None seem ideal, and he knows that Rudeus's reaction must be considered in whatever decision he makes. Ultimately, Rudeus decides to manipulate their fear, backing up his decision with a small display of magical power. They concoct a story, using Rudeus's fearsome reputation to ensure the captives won't spread any word about their encounter. Meanwhile, Rudeus cleverly devises a plan to involve some local adventurers, misleading them into taking on the task of returning the pets. The ruse not only avoids direct conflict with the guild but also keeps their group's reputation intact. Through a mix of caution, cunning, and a touch of bravado, Rudeus navigates the precarious situation. His solution illustrates his growing ability to balance his ideals with the harsh realities he faces as an adventurer. This experience underscores the challenges of maintaining one's moral compass in a world that demands hard choices. Rudeus, reflecting on recent events, considers the advice he's received about Rudeus's reputation. Knowing Rudeus's intimidating nature, Rudeus decides they need to change the public's perception of Rudeus by completing higher-ranked adventurer tasks. However, a lizard man corrects Rudeus, explaining that the party who accepts the task must be the one to report back. To progress, Rudeus proposes a clever plan to manipulate the system, continue doing E-rank jobs but report using another party's name, boosting their reputation without infringing guild rules. The lizard man, intrigued by the idea, agrees to spread the word about Rudeus as long as he's seen doing commendable deeds. It's a mutual understanding that both find agreeable. As they exit the guild, two small-time crooks attempt to rob them, but Rudeus swiftly apprehends them. Eris, the fierce and spirited one, wants to teach the criminals a lesson. However, Rudeus sees an opportunity to use their skills positively. The captured duo, surprisingly unfazed by Rudeus, express their interest in making amends by joining the party to catch villains, leveraging their insider knowledge. Later, when they reunite with Mysel, the girl is overjoyed, having worried about her lost pet, a black panther named Me. Rudeus, moved by her pure faith in them, reciprocates her trust. The simplicity and sincerity of a child's belief resonate with Rudeus deeply, highlighting a more tender side of him. Returning to the guild, they encounter a member named Horseface who proudly declares their recent job success. This earns them a higher rank, moving them up to D rank, progress that's both a relief and encouragement to Rudeus. Eris, meanwhile, jibes Rudeus playfully, helping lighten the mood. Their success at the guild attracts attention, securing respect from fellow adventurers. However, Rudeus is acutely aware of the need to maintain progress and act smartly, so he continues to be strategic about their missions. Later, Jalil, one of their new acquaintances, approaches with a business proposition. Rudeus considers closely how this aligns with their goals. They opt to focus on building their reputation steadily, eager to shift the focus from Rudeus's past to their commendable present actions. Embarking on their assignment to hunt Pax coyotes, the group efficiently handles their task despite initial doubts about their capability. Rudeus takes charge of skinning the creatures, showcasing a contrasting primal skill that's unusual yet necessary. The physical labor grounds the party, allowing them an opportunity to bond through work. As day turns into night, the exhausting work seems more rewarding. They humorously consider ways to sell the coyote corpses more creatively but eventually burn the remains, mindful of health regulations. Reflecting on their efforts, Rudeus feels a tangible sense of progress, both in terms of rank and Rudeus's reputation. Deciding to spend part of their earnings, they visit a pet shop, which reminds Rudeus of his affection for animals and the potential profitability of lost pet retrieval. They also invest in equipment, Rudeus choosing a protective robe suitable for adventure. Meanwhile, Eris embraces the opportunity to pick flamboyant armor that plays to her strengths, illustrating her growth and independence. With Rudeus's growing understanding of the world around him, he becomes more approachable, engaging with those they meet on kinder terms than his fearsome exterior suggests, an evolution Rudeus takes comfort in observing. Their continued efforts to refine and refocus on reputable, seemingly small tasks steadily bring them financial benefits and broader acceptance, reinforcing Rudeus's belief in the power of consistency and genuine effort. Each step harmonizes their shared goal of achieving respectability within the adventurer community while assuaging past burdens that linger. Under the dim glow of illuminator stones, Rudeus, Eris, and Rudeus navigate the winding streets back to their inn. Reflecting on their adventuring journey, Rudeus acknowledges they've had a good start, but understands that steadily building their reputation is key. Weeks pass, and their party ranks up to rank D. Even though things seem to be proceeding smoothly, the pressing need to accumulate enough completed jobs looms over them. Facing pressure to rank up quickly, which would impress their contacts Jali and Viscal, Rudeus contemplates if this path is more of a necessity than an opportunity. With limited financial resources, creativity in choosing their jobs becomes crucial. An intriguing job listing catches Rudeus's eye: to locate and defeat unidentified monsters. The payout is significant, pulling in both Jalil and Rudeus's interest. The team has already faced challenges in previous jobs, including ill-fated encounters with acid wolves. Jalil, familiar with these risks, hesitantly agrees that it could be a valuable learning experience, though there are reservations. Rudeus faces the decision to embrace this uncertainty. The journey takes them to the Petrified Forest, a day's travel from Rikarisu. The forest stands ominous, a place with petrified trees and hidden dangers. The presence of other adventurers becomes apparent when they encounter a B-rank party known as the Super Blazers, alongside a few others with unique tasks. Kurt, leading another party, has a mission to collect mysterious eggs, which might lead them to cross paths. Despite some tensions over overlapping missions, Rudeus tries to maintain a sense of cooperation but is worried about their overlapping paths in the forest. Rudeus maintains a protective stance over their group, concerned about the exposure of his identity as a superd. His vigilance is justified when trouble brews nearby. Kurt's party faces an imminent threat from an executioner, a formidable undead adversary. Rudeus, despite Rudeus's advice to watch and distance themselves, cannot ignore the cries for help. The executioner is fierce but, with collective effort, Rudeus steps in to aid, showcasing his magical prowess. The situation escalates, especially with the appearance of a group of menacing armored anacondas drawn to the conflict. Despite the battle's intensity, Rudeus and Eris manage to protect Kurt's companions. In the aftermath, Kurt, reeling from the loss of a party member during their mission, questions Rudeus, projecting blame. Eris, holding her own emotional distresses, appears caught between anger and understanding. They share a terse exchange as Rudeus acknowledges that the outcome might have been different had they intervened earlier. The emotional weight intensifies as Kurt reacts, grappling with personal responsibility. Yet, through their mutual frustrations, a reluctant respect forms for their ability to survive and support one another amid dangerous trials. Their bonds as warriors are tested further under pressure as Rudeus contemplates his stance on the definitions of children and warriors. His conversation with Rudeus leads him to identify himself and his team as protectors, blurring the traditional definitions. Back in the deeper part of the forest, they stumble upon a massive red-hood cobra, already mid-feast, signaling danger. Though the beast has not noticed their presence, deliberation ensues about the best approach. Ultimately, they engage in battle against this formidable opponent, employing their combined strategies. Rudeus and Eris fight directly, while Rudeus supports with magic. The cobra proves to be cunning, dodging attacks with surprising reflexes, illustrating the challenges of battling higher-ranked creatures. The battle stretches on, testing their skills and cooperation. Rudeus fires a sequence of spells with Eris expertly distracting the cobra, allowing Rudeus to move in for critical hits. Finally, with precision and teamwork, they overcome the beast, weary but victorious. As they finish their adventure, Rudeus ponders over the unforeseen elements of the combat, especially the cobra's rare resistance to magic. Returned to the city, they report success but remain introspective about their experiences and the potential consequences of their actions. Their trials in this chapter punctuate the growth and binds of their party, built on a blend of struggles against both tangible monsters and intangible pressures of identity, responsibility, and camaraderie. Their adventure is far from over, and each step forward is laden with lessons and evolving dynamics. Tensions in the guild office mount as Nokapara questions Jiji's judgment, doubting their association with P. Hunter's job. Unconvinced by the "so what" attitude, Nokapara warns them about the risks of associating with adventurers who might not follow guild rules. Jiji, speaking too quickly, unintentionally escalates the situation, creating more unease. Yet, Rudeus remains composed, intent on avoiding conflict. Despite the brewing confrontation, Rudeus tries to clarify their involvement with P. Hunter. Nokapara's suspicion intensifies, making it clear that there are underlying guild rules they're close to violating. Rudeus grapples with this complex situation, trying to keep Eris and Rudeus from reacting impulsively. Nokapara's persistence leads to him physically lifting Rudeus, creating a tense moment. Yet, Rudeus resorts to calm reasoning, questioning the ethical implications of what guilds might do behind closed doors. Still, fear nags at him as Nokapara warns them about repercussions, hinting at shady dealings and the potential for losing their bounty rewards. As Nokapara escalates the situation, Rudeus sees Eris and Rudeus growing unease, knowing their presence is vital in navigating this delicate scenario. With tensions high, bloodshed feels imminent, yet Rudeus maintains a cool demeanor. The tension crescendos when Rudeus demands recognition, starkly presenting his identity and challenging Nokapara head-on. Nokapara, stunned by Rudeus' revelation, crumbles, a stark contrast to the assertive character he'd portrayed. Even Jiji starts to waver, with Rudeus guiding him towards cautious resolutions. What follows is a sudden shift as Nokapara, visibly shaken, outwardly acknowledges his dreadful error amidst the staring eyes of the guild. Rudeus' formidable presence leaves them no choice but to accept a partial payment before departing. Standing outside, Rudeus reflects on their predicament, knowing word of their involvement will spread. He maneuvers them out of a potential ambush, deciding their path ahead must steer clear of the guild's prying influence. Nokapara, attempting to save face, tries leading them to another job. Yet, Rudeus, aware of looming guild repercussions, remains skeptical. They navigate through reminders of their dead-end association, knowing each confrontation spurs potential setbacks. Their journey leads them to a distinctive old lady's dwelling where Nokapara stumbles through feeble explanations. The group is met with skeptical but amused acknowledgement, as Rudeus' commanding presence continually disperses tension. An unfortunate coincidence brings them to the Wolflow Inn, their encounters with the frazzled Kurt setting off more warnings within Rudeus' mind. The visuals of Eris' combat prowess and Rudeus' intimidating reputation invoke a sense of intimidation even among seasoned adventurers. As scenarios grow ever complex, Rudeus finds himself mulling over three difficult options: confrontation, betrayal, or monetary compensation. Realizing each carries significant risks, is driven towards the least destructive path. Suddenly, Nokapara returns with demands for compensation, escalating severely when met with Rudeus' looming figure. With the tables turned, Nokapara's demeanor crumbles under pressure, forcing a swift retreat to uphold their reputation. Faced with guild repercussions, Rudeus takes action, diverting attention and spiriting them towards a quieter exit after grasping crucial lessons from these altercations. Sensing vulnerability, Kurt approaches Rudeus, inquiring about alliances with their perceived monster, offering insight into the perspectives they face. Exiting the town, Rudeus makes a decisive purchase from local villagers, acquiring a nimble six-legged mount for their journey. This symbol of new beginnings encapsulates their forward path, shifting from one cloaked in guild turmoil to one aimed at new horizons. In the following days, the group's dynamic strengthens. Eris and Rudeus fuse more fluidly, with disputes and resolutions painting pictures of growth. Rudeus' sage advice encourages Rudeus' efforts, reinforcing their collective goals. However, the atmosphere thickens with tension as specters from the past linger. Rudeus internally debates over decisions, steadfastly refusing to allow one mistake to label Rudeus unjustly. Resolute, he vows to shield Rudeus' honor and pursue his aspirations no matter the adversities. As they push forward, shedding remnants of former frustrations, Rudeus reflects on their shared journey. A laughter breaks among them, a moment capturing camaraderie, reminding all that amidst chaos, unity grows resilient. Through their tangled encounters and reflections, the group harnesses these experiences, transforming burdens into empowered strides. And so, with vivid lessons etched within their hearts, their adventure presses on, unfurling into a new chapter punctuated by both heartache and hope. Rudeus is organizing a team meeting with Eris and Rudeus. He emphasizes the importance of clear communication and collaboration. The group is transitioning from a teacher-student dynamic to operating as equal adventurers, and Rudeus wants to ensure they function effectively as a team. He shares a new approach inspired by the adventurer party system he observed in the past. Eris is initially unsure about the concept of formally reporting and consulting with each other. Rudeus clarifies that the goal is to openly discuss their plans, consult each other before making decisions, and incorporate everyone's insights. He says, "I'm planning on asking you too for your opinions also. When someone consults you, listen carefully." Rudeus reflects on his past decisions where he might have overly relied on Rudeus for judgment, realizing the value of diverse perspectives. He encourages Eris and Rudeus to speak up and share their thoughts. Understanding that Eris is still learning to articulate her ideas, Rudeus reassures her that even her questions could lead to better solutions. The meeting then shifts to the discussion of their next steps. The ultimate goal is reaching the kingdom of Azura. They decide to travel through the central continent, which requires careful planning due to the region's dangers. Rudeus explains the complexity of reaching the continent's southern tip and the potential challenges of the journey, including the need to cross multiple territories alive with danger. Rudeus outlines a plan to travel in stages, reaching small city milestones every 2 weeks, to gradually make their way south. He emphasizes the importance of consistent progress and mentions the usefulness of the adventurers' guilds in each city for support and supplies. With the plan settled, Rudeus advises Rudeus to keep his identity as a super secret to avoid unnecessary conflict, even though this aspect of his identity is pivotal to their mission. Rudeus recalls a past mistake of not conducting market research, which could have saved them money in earlier dealings. As they prepare to leave, Eris expresses a desire to learn the demon god tongue. Rudeus and Rudeus agree to help teach her, seeing the practical benefits for their journey. Eris successfully starts learning, but finds studying challenging, hinting at her preference for action over academics. Rudeus, teaching her combat skills alongside language, realizes the importance of balancing hard lessons with encouragement. He decides to test Rudeus' strength one day by challenging him to a spar. Rudeus realizes his skills are far from Rudeus' level, as the experienced warrior easily overpowers him. Rudeus praises Rudeus for his magical prowess yet advises him to focus more on honing his fighting techniques. While they continue their journey and take on various quests in the cities they pass through, they encounter other adventurers. One such adventurer openly challenges Rudeus to a duel, not realizing his true identity. This encounter becomes a bonding experience for Rudeus as he gains the admiration of others through tales of his past heroics, helping him restore some dignity to the superb name in the process. The journey southward is both challenging and rewarding. The trio grows closer as they face each adventure, gradually becoming a well-respected team of B-ranked adventurers. Their shared experiences and the obstacles they overcome solidify their bonds and mutual trust. Eventually, Rudeus reflects on how much they've grown over the past year, ready for even greater challenges that lie ahead. As they conclude their adventures on the Demon Continent, the hope of a brighter path and greater unity seems not only possible but promising.